You think the halftime shows are kind of lame nowadays? Yes and no. I thought Kendrick's last year was good. I thought he did well. I think the problem was that Kendrick has one dance move, but that's just him, you know. He's unk, and I don't know that we could teach him anything new anyway. You know, he does that thing where he sways left and right, and he moves his arms much like these snakes move. And the entire halftime show, he did that until he like did his 3 choreographed moves, because he just isn't like a dancer, you know, but that's fine. I don't think that made his show like bad. It didn't make a dent in it, you know, or anything like that. But, you know, it was what it was. And he brought out SZA, you know, like she came out and did her thing. It was what it was. It was what it was. Snoops was good. I think Prince's was really good. You know what it is? I think the shows are usually really nice. The problem is they don't always film it well. Because if you watch like someone who sat there in the stands and filmed it, they feel so different than the TV level production. And sometimes the camera people really like capture what's going on. Other times they're zoomed in on the person, but you really should be zoomed out in that moment because they're doing a lot with formations and everything for the people sitting in the audience. And it's just, I don't know, they don't always show all of what's going on very well. So I wish they would do more with that. So I don't know. We'll see how this one is. I feel like he'll do well. I feel like he'll do well no matter what. The Who was a snooze fest. Oh yeah, I wasn't into the one with the Who. Tell me what your favorite halftime shows have been. I liked the one in 2022. It was Dre, Snoop, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick. I thought that one was solid. Very solid. I will rant about my thoughts on the second, the Justin Timberlake one in 2018 and how I'm a Janet fan and, you know, something, the indignation. I don't know. I'll be back though. I gotta check on my cat who's likely thrown up. My favorite was the 2001 Super Bowl Creed performance, performing Higher with Ariel Ballet going on. You know, there's been some really interesting ones. But what I was gonna say was this whole Super Bowl incident. Remember in, was it 2009? Was it 2009? Where there was a whole thing with the Janet incident, right? And it wasn't really her fault. Everyone was trying to blame her. It wasn't really her fault. Justin was equally as at fault. No matter what happened, no matter who planned what, or nothing was planned or anything, Justin Timberlake was the one who did it, okay? And exposed her boob on TV. He grabbed it, right? And then what happened? She was like blacklisted from everything for the longest time. Still had some of her best-selling things happening after that, but still, like, they wouldn't let her on TV, you know, like anywhere. And then they brought him back for the Super Bowl in 2018. And I was like, he better bring Janet. He didn't. He didn't bring Janet. Nothing. He apologized like 15 years later and was like, sorry, you know, it was really not cool that they, you know, blamed you and didn't say much about me. And that was it. She wasn't anywhere for years. She was doing everything she could, and the industry was doing everything they could to nerf her, to keep her not being known. She was releasing so much music after that. She was putting out music videos, everything. And they were like, don't show it. Don't put it on the charts. Play as little of it on the radio as possible, right? Actively doing that. And Justin Timberlake, who was the one who ripped her top off during that show, he had no issues. He actually got boosted into fame at that point, after that, even more. He had his highest grossing stuff right after that. So what the fuck, right? Her getting blacklisted wasn't his fault. It's the executives who should have apologized. Okay, what did he do about it? 2 people are on TV during an incident. One gets blamed and the other says nothing and goes on to do all their best in their career and watches the other one get absolutely destroyed and does nothing. Come on. Didn't even say anything. They tried to make it sound like it was an accident. That was Time Exactly Say Gonna Have You Naked by the end of the song. It was an accident. Okay, she was wearing a corset with another corset on top. And one was one color, the other was the other color. He was supposed to rip off the outer one and expose the one underneath. So it was an outfit change. It was like an outfit reveal kind of thing, right? That's what was planned. And there are loads of ways where you can prove this. You can see her wearing the thing underneath, all of that. They've even shown the costume and stuff. So it was supposed to be that he was just supposed to like grab this one outer layer and pull it off, and it was supposed to rip off very easily. And then the stuff underneath, not so much. That's why the under one didn't rip off. It just like pulled down a bit, and that was it. And it kind of got fucked up. Yeah, no, it was planned. That's why it was with the music and everything. It was planned, but it wasn't that all of it was supposed to be ripped off of her, you know? So it legitimately, yeah, you didn't know it was an accident. Exactly, because the media for the longest time was like, oh, they planned this. She totally planned to have him rip her shirt off of her on stage. Who the would do that during the Super Bowl? She was already so famous. She did not need to do that to like get fame. Like they were saying stuff that made no sense and pinning it on her like it was like she wanted that, and she just there was no way. There was absolutely no way. It was so much made up for so long, man. It was just supposed to be an outfit reveal. That's really it. It was supposed to be like we rip off I think it was like the outer course. It was black and underneath was red, and she wanted it to be like you pull off the outside, and then he says his line and pulls it off, and then like boom, like new version of the outfit. You know. Also, it's a damn titty. At the time, though, that was like kind of crazy. Yeah, Jen took all the brunt, which was not right at all. It was not. That's what I was saying. Like, all the reasons they were making up made no sense, too. They were like, oh, she wanted to do it to shock people. She wasn't known for shock value ever. That was never a thing. She just did her music. She was like not even like doing anything crazy scandalous, you know? This was like, she didn't do anything. You know, she didn't have anything that she was doing. The worst was in her music, she would say something that was a bit sexual, which like everyone did because it was the R&B era especially. So that wasn't anything to go off of, you know? I don't know, man. Don't understand why he said nothing. But also I do, because we know he's like piece of shit, right? I think it'll be good if in the future someone, I don't care who it is, but if someone performs at the Super Bowl and just like brings her out for something. You know, oftentimes they bring out an additional person, if not a bunch of people, to just have them with them, right? I think it'd be good if someone did that. I was hoping it would be Justin in 2018 to kind of like try to help rectify, but he didn't do shit, so not that I was surprised. But yeah, I think it'll be nice. Anyway, one day when I perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, I'll pull out Janet Jackson from the side and I'll have her perform Pleasure Principle. It'll be cool.